You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? It is your girl, your diva and knowledge lady Mocha, representing Mocha's Ladies Lounge. Also representing Mocha's Cafe de Paris, my co-ed channel for men and women. Just in case y'all were not aware that I do also have two channels. Mocha's Cafe de Paris, that is a space in which the men and the women come together and congregate. And I also have your one and only Mocha's Ladies Lounge, a channel in which women can have a safe haven space and be able to also congregate together. So I might upload this particular content here to both channels. So I may end up also putting this on Mocha's Cafe de Paris, only because people with Mocha's Cafe de Paris, they're not familiar with Mocha's Ladies Lounge, or Mocha's Ladies Lounge is not familiar with Mocha's Cafe de Paris. So just to kill two birds on one stone, sometimes if I upload to one, I'm upload to the other if I feel it's a subject in which it's pretty mutual. So nevertheless, I just want to share that with y'all. Please make sure y'all hit that like button. I definitely appreciate that. So again, I thank all of you. My business has definitely been putting me in overdrive, y'all. When I say I'm getting so many clients, in case y'all were not aware, I do have my own family violence intervention program, in which I specifically deal with men and women who have been arrested, or are either not have been arrested, but are also court order or court mandated, either from the judge or their probation officer, to take family domestic violence or domestic violence classes, in which they actually have to come through me. I am a Georgia State certified family violence intervention provider and class facilitator. But not only are you required to take the classes if you're a Georgia resident, if you're outside of Georgia and the judge still grants you to be able to take family violence virtually, I can also accommodate you as well. I do have participants that live in other states who also are taking my classes. I got some participants from New York, some from Colorado, Delaware. So yes, if you're court mandated because you've been arrested for domestic violence, whether if that domestic violence occurred between you, your significant other, your child, family member, domestic violence is domestic violence. It's not just boyfriend, girlfriend, baby mama, baby daddy drama. Fathers and sons have had family domestic, mothers and daughters. I deal with participants that have experienced domestic violence in multiple different scenarios. So don't think that domestic violence is only just physical abuse, or any type of physical encounters between just couples or people that's in a relationship. It could be any type of dynamic in which that person is related to you or have some type of intimate connection with you. So I just want to share that with y'all. So this is the reason why I felt I definitely could be an asset to this particular subject at hand surrounding Diddy, because there's a lot of speculation going on that, Cassie was old enough to understand what she signed up for, and basically a lot of people coming in pretty hard on her, saying that she's not a victim, she's a volunteer, that she was in it for the money, and all of this is a money grab, and because she didn't end up being Diddy's final chosen, she's being bitter and retaliating. But the whole 10 years she was down by law with him, she was part of the freak off. So, as this trial goes on and on, Any information that Cassie has basically spoken upon, people are taking the narratives and twisting it. The text messages she had sent back and forth to him about wanting to see him, wanting to be with him, and everybody, see, she's not really abused like that. So, y'all hyping this whole thing up, and she was down with the freak offs. She was down, she basically is not a victim. That's basically what everybody is saying, right? But a lot of people aren't understanding Cassie is not the reason alone that Diddy is going down. Cassie is just a crumb of the pie. He got bigger issues at the hand. The man is facing RICO charges, racketeering, human sex trafficking. It's just so many things surrounding it, and a lot of people are not woke, and they're not understanding that the Cassie thing was used as a distractive tactic, to make people become so asphyxiated on that they lose track of what he's really there for, and that in the long run is what I feel is going to give the defense the upper hand, because everybody's so asphyxiated on a smaller piece of the puzzle. Even if he never ever get charges with Cassie, that is minute compared to what he's up against. In fact, he would have been better being up against what happened between him and Cassie versus the bigger sharks that he has to battle. I mean, the situation with Cassie, that is just a fish in the ocean. This man is up against multiple charges that can very well sorry y'all, it's driving me crazy. I just eat dinner, but anyway, yeah, he's up against some much larger obstacles at hand, and everybody wants to run with Cassie, run with that, because she's a celebrity. And the biggest thing is when that video went viral, and it's very strategic. Whoever is trying to take him down, they were very strategic, because they coincidentally, out of the blue, decided to expose this video of him physically abusing Cassie, when he already had all of these other issues surfacing, and the video just added more insult to injury. I mean, it's just trickled downhill, and you have so many people that's windmilling for Diddy, and it amazes me, because if any of y'all are fans, we have been following Diddy for years. Okay, his music, his reality shows, and we have seen this man act out in so many monstrous ways. We have seen the devil in Diddy manifest multiple times, and now that this man is going down for a substantial amount of cases, and the fact that everybody still wants to say that Diddy is innocent is bananas to me. We don't even have to talk about the Cassie thing for all of y'all, because let's face it, we do have some man beaters out there. We have some man beaters that actually co-sign and condone men like Diddy. Why? Because they're women beaters themselves, or they despise women just that much. The red pill rhetoric has really pushed that on an all-time high to make it acceptable to not only hate black women, but to also abuse, and not even consider it domestic violence, but consider it domestic discipline. You have to keep these black holes in check, because that's how they see us, right? Also, and I'll say, you got women that's pushing the same thing when it comes to black men. They are trying to push the narrative that it is okay for black women to disrespect black men. It's both sides that are guilty, and I can't never say it's just something that men do and women are less guilty, or or men or vice versa, or either the men are less guilty and the women are doing it, or the women are doing it and the men are less guilty, whichever way. Hopefully I didn't say it backwards, but y'all get my drift. So both genders are guilty. And this is something the black community does wholeheartedly. We love to ridicule and pick a side based on our own personal biases and our own personal views and our own personal negative experiences when it comes to each other. I don't see other races doing it as frequently, and if they are, they're doing it with some type of stipulation. When it comes to the black community, we have no stipulation. We go for blow. Black men are encouraging other black men to disrespect black women, do not support black women, and support anyone who does disrespect black women. That is the unfortunate rhetoric that has been pushed, and promoted. And unfortunately, a lot of black women, even those of us who don't deserve it, we're getting punished for how some black men see all black women. And I'm not saying all black men think like this, because there's a lot of men who got a mind of their own, and even though they've had some unpleasant experiences with black women, they don't take it out on all black women, and they don't justify black women being abused because they simply just don't like black women. And as I said, black women are doing it as well. They're promoting podcasts and channels in which they are promoting black women to deal with men, to deal with men outside of their race, as if, there's not any white devils, as if these white men are less capable of bringing harm to women or taking the lives of women. And I'm just over the bitter pill, red pill, blue pill, sisterhood, sorority, bitter sisterhood, sorority. I'm just over, the gender wars shenanigans within the within the black community, especially in these YouTube streets. Is very brutal. But let me, not focus too much on that, right? But y'all get my drift. This is the reason why a lot of men are caping for Diddy, because they perceive Cassie as the typical black woman. She just wants to secure the bag. She's down with a man as long as she's able to benefit and she's chosen. And a moment she's not chosen, out of bitterness, she wants to take a black man down. And you have also, some sisters that are going in, not because they have any real compassion for Cassie, but due to the fact that they really do want to see Diddy go down, because he's a black man who unfortunately represents the epitome of what they perceive as black men that are cancer and toxic to the black community. Okay. Diddy represents that epitome of creating broken homes, having children for multiple women, and yet he's considered a king and getting all his praise and worship service, right? So everybody got their reasons, but this is the whole thing that a lot of people are not understanding. Whatever biases you are choosing for your own personal reasons for Diddy to be guilty or not guilty is not going to negate the fact that he is very well indeed guilty. Why? Not just because of this Cassie incident, not just because of all of these current charges. Diddy the devil has been manifesting. He has been shown his demonic ways. Okay, we've seen him take advantage of a lot of his artists. We've seen that there's not one artist we can name, and if so, it's probably just one that has become successful after being on his label for years. All of his artists has made hits, but none of them have gotten rich. Shine, 112, Total, the group Dream, Danity Kane, Day 26, the band. We saw, any of us, growing up in the 90s, late 90s, we saw Diddy in action on the band. The way he disrespected young starving artists who really wanted the opportunity of, you know, becoming a part of something huge because they wanted that dream to become that artist, that next big thing, because Bad Boy was the biggest label, and a lot of the artists that we thought was top tier as far as talent. I mean, Mace, Faith Evans, Little Kim, the Locks, you know, I mean, all of this talent is the reason why a lot of us has so much love for Bad Boy. But we found out in the end, behind all the glitz and glamour and shiny aluminum foil suits, that a lot of these artists were miserable, and Diddy was definitely capitalizing off of the desperation of a lot of people. Again, we ain't even talking about Cassie and his court cases. You got 1,000 content creators talking about that. So if you want to know what's the latest, what's going on, what the prosecutors are saying, and what the DA is saying, check out any of these content creators. Everybody is all over it. I'm not going too much into the case because it's overly saturated, and it's just too early in the game to be giving my to talk about it, because every day I'm gonna have to keep staying on it, because it's going to keep twisting, turning, and it's going to be more stuff that's going to come out, and it's just too much. I don't have that kind of time to keep loading every day. You know what I mean? I don't load content every day to keep y'all in the loop like that. So I leave that to those who specialize in covering something as big and overly saturated as the Diddy case. But we've seen him do a lot of people in. We've heard multiple stories from different artists. All have complained about how Diddy was doing them with their money, you know, with the raw deals that he had them signing on these contracts. For people to forget all the demonic deeds this man has done, and to still say Diddy is a good dude. He doesn't deserve to be locked up. He doesn't deserve this kind of treatment. How quickly we forget how this man has made millions and billions off his artists. And the thing about it was, he was slave driving so many of them. Had them in the studio for hours and days. Didn't care that they had to go to school. I didn't even know 112 was 15 and 16. I didn't even know they were still in high school when they had to do so much studio time for Diddy. And Diddy did not care that they had to still go to school the next day. Still had to go back to their, basic regular lives after being in the studio for 3-4 days straight. Not caring that 112 at the time was young men who still had, their future way ahead of them, And the sad thing is, so many of the artists that we have grown to love, notice a lot of them don't even work together anymore. He has robbed a lot of people of their talent to the point that they don't have any passion for it. Pam is never on tour with Total. Okay, even artists that are no longer signed, are no longer obligated to the label. They just don't have the passion. The group 112, Q and Darren, they've been left. The only original ones is Mike and Slim. Shine, we know how that went down. Shine took a charge for Diddy, and missed several years of his life, because Shine respected the street code. He didn't fold, and Diddy used it to his advantage. Biggest of them all was when Diddy's career blew up after Biggie Smalls allegedly was supposed to go on tour in London, but Diddy allegedly had other intentions and decided to have Biggie go to California, knowing there was a lot of tension between West Coast and East Coast. But I'm not going to go into all of that because it's going down a rabbit hole. But y'all get my drift. Any of y'all that have been fans and loyal supporters of bad boy artists, not so much Diddy, but bad boy artists, you know the struggle. And to this day, everybody knows, but I gotta say alleged, everybody knows Diddy had a whole lot to do with why Biggie and Pac ain't here. Okay? Several people have already exposed that Diddy wanted to be the biggest, best thing. Y'all have to realize, for one, Diddy is a Scorpio, okay? And Scorpio men, and I'm going to say this with all respect, if you're not in the zodiac thing, I can respect that. Ain't no love lost or whatever. I'm a Scorpio, okay? Scorpio men are very jealous and very possessive. And I mean, Scorpios don't have stingers for nothing. You know, the moment you cross us, the moment there's just a slight deter of loyalty, we will sting you like no other. The only difference is you have some Scorpios that are way more extreme with their stinging. Like for me, you got to really do something to me for me to even take the energy to really put my venom in you, you know. But trust and believe, when I do it, you earned it. Because I sat back and I let you do it for a long time. Because I want to be sure that when I pull out that big boom, you've earned it. When I drop those real bombs, you've earned it. Now Diddy, on the other hand, he was dropping bombs if you wrote his name wrong. If you didn't go and walk 3 hours to go get his cheesecake. Diddy was definitely on a power trip. A demonic power trip. To the point that a lot of people was afraid of him. Fretful of him. And this is what brings me to the whole point of me even doing this podcast or whatever, is because a lot of y'all act like y'all don't know a demonic giant. These industry devils. You know, people whom got so much pull. So many deadly and demonic connections that you know that if you even tried them, or even if it was to defend yourself, not because you was disrespecting or trying to take advantage, but nevertheless coming up against these industry devils, you take a huge gamble. Because Diddy had a lot of power, a lot of connections, and everybody who's ever had any type of connection with this guy, whether if it was as an artist, as a companion, as a friend, as a business partner, it's not too many people that can tell you they had a pleasant encounter with Diddy. And for those who said it, was only because Diddy was smart enough to pick and choose who to use as prey. You know, Diddy always basically went after the weakest prey. He never would challenge people that either he was threatened by them physically, or the fact that I don't think he challenged people outside of his race as strongly either. In other words, Diddy was very smart and strategic and knowing how to pick his battles. He knew how to go toe to toe, and Diddy was like this. If he was afraid, or if he did see you as a threat, he would basically silently, cool, calm, and collectively build a connection with you so you would not be able to pinpoint it. He knew how to stay smooth and grounded with people who he knew he didn't have the power or the authority to infiltrate or to conquer. So Diddy knew to stay low key or to pretend to be mellow with the biggest threats. Either he would be really mellow with you, or he would assign other demonic soldiers on his camp to do his dirty work. So if he was afraid of getting close to you, thinking that you would smell him out and knew what he was up to, what he would do was recruit his soldiers on the Diddy demonic defenders. He knew how to recruit certain individuals to do his dirty work. That way, no one, his enemy, would not be able to pinpoint that it came from his direction. Diddy, make no mistake about it, Diddy has been in the industry for years. He knows the game and he knows it well. He knows when to hold them, he knows when to fold them, and he knows when to choke them. He will choke you out before you even think for a second that you have just a little power over him. He will knock you down before you could even attempt to get up and even think about trying to oversee him, right? So the point is, a lot of people couldn't figure out, why is everybody just coming out now? You know, his ex-president is going to be coming on trial, is going to be testifying. Of course, Cassie came out. These other couple of witnesses came out. A couple of celebrities like Terrence Howard. A lot of people now are confessing. Now they're being more transparent, especially now that Diddy the Devil is secured in a jail in which he cannot hurt these individuals. But make no mistake about it, Diddy is in that jail cell in between those four walls every day. When you're incarcerated, your brain goes on 1,000. The senses that you used to not use, they go in overdrive. Every day he's thinking about how he can destroy the people that betrayed him, turned his back on him, people who he thought was going to have his best interest. Don't think that every day he's not angry. He is not pissed with anybody he ever gave a chance, anybody he ever thought was his friend, who he ever allowed in his crew. All of those people that have not come forward and defended him, or have not had nothing positive to say about him, or even worse, are now going against him, airing him out, telling all his dirty laundry. Diddy is pissed. Not that it matters at this point in time, but Diddy is not taken well to betrayal. The crazy part about men like Diddy, like Diddy, they can blow smoke all day. They'll dish out all day, but they can't take it back. Diddy is this type of person. He can do you in for years, and you do him in just for 1 week. He can't handle it, you know. He goes berserk. Diddy loves to betray people, but he cannot handle betrayal. By no means. He just can't, you know. And it's eating him up like cancer, knowing that he's restricted. And he has to move strategically now. He cannot be sending his goons, his diddlers, to do his dirty work. Because the block is hot right now. Absolutely, he can't send nobody to go knock off anybody who's testifying. Now, he might can get people to still do his dirty work by bribing people not to testify. Money gonna always talk. Unless a person has so much hate or resentment for you that there's no amount of money you can offer to make them not fold on you, because they want to see you go down just that bad. So the question is, why is everybody coming out now? There's a lot of reasons behind that. A lot of y'all try to act like y'all haven't been in positions in which you've seen somebody do a lot of unethical and immoral things, and you knew it was dead wrong, but yet you did nothing about it. All of us at some point have seen and witnessed people on our jobs, whether it was your supervisor, your director, or the plant operator, or whatever. You've seen people with large positions do a lot of unethical or impractical things in your workplace, and you did not say a word. Some of y'all have even seen your favorite bishop, pastor, your spiritual overseers in your church do some foul, unethical things, but you did not say a word. You still go to church every Sunday. You still putting money in that tithing pan and when it's going around the church. You still tithing. Same thing. Y'all still going to that job, knowing you done seen that supervisor or those leaders at that particular agency or organization. You seen them do some foul stuff, and you turn a deaf eye and you still go to work. Okay, let's take it even closer to home. A lot of y'all have people in your own house living foul, doing some foul stuff. Whether if it's your daddy, your mama, your brother, your uncle. And because of the fact that they're family, you won't say a word, or because they are the elder or the older, or they have some type of leadership within the family, you will not call it out. You won't say a word. And people wonder why all of these people are now coming forth now that Diddy is incarcerated. The same reason people keeping their mouth closed, and people kept their mouth closed all of these years and are now saying something, is the same reason a lot of y'all keep your mouth closed right now. You're not going to report your boss. You're not going to report what the nurses are doing at that clinic, knowing they doing some unethical, unpractical, immoral stuff to the patients. It's big time in law enforcement. And law enforcement is so many dirty officers. It's a lot of officers who work in that same unit and know what's going on and won't say a word. They would not report their chief. They would not report their sergeants. Why? Same reason people did not report Diddy, because when it comes to survival, people will overlook what's right just so that they can survive. They will overlook all the crooked behavior, all the undercover, unethical, impractical behavior, because people are depending on that agency or that organization, whatever it is. They're depending on that as a means to survive. And anytime you depend on something as a means of survive, you're not going to snitch on survival. You're not going to snitch on survival. At least not until the coast is clear. Or not, at least not until now it's something that's going to affect you if you don't be transparent. Everybody's coming forward now about Diddy because people feel safer. Diddy had so much power. Diddy had it to where he was able to send his goons to go after people who would not cooperate with his program. And anytime you go against a machine, you take a chance in being blackballed, being disrespected, losing your livelihood. Anybody who challenged Diddy, a lot of them are saying now that the reason they would not challenge Diddy because Diddy had a lot of power. He had the power to get his goons to come after you, to silence you, to hurt your family. He also had power to get you blackballed, in which you could not go anywhere else to get signed, or you could not go anywhere else to get business propositions. If anybody ever crossed Diddy, there was hell to pay. And you didn't even have to cross Diddy. Just not kissing his ass and not doing what he wanted you to do warrants enough for him to make your life a living hell. Everybody who ended up falling out with Diddy, it wasn't always because they did something wrong. Okay? Anybody who fell out with Diddy, not all of them did Diddy in. Diddy is one, once you go against the grain, once you don't do what he say, the moment you challenge him, the moment you call him out, he had the power, as far as within the industry, to make it difficult for you to be able to make moves, for you to be able to prosper. Nobody wanted to suffer the hurricane of Diddy. Diddy was one of the most biggest demons for anybody to be up against in the music industry. Now, there's different industries, okay? For Diddy, it was more of the entertainment industry. Had a lot of power, had a lot of pull to blackball you if you tried to sue him, or you wouldn't give in to his sexual advances, or the fact that, if he was attracted to you, but you wasn't attracted to him, and you would keep turning him down, things like that. Anytime you meet a person of power in that industry or that arena, and you deny them of something, you automatically make yourself a target. It's no different than a woman who's probably a secretary at a construction plant, and the CEO of that construction plant has probably been trying to smash her, take her to bed, because she won't go to bed with him, because he's used to being big dog CEO. He's used to women giving in and giving him what he wants, and once he gets what he wants and he has conquered his prey, then he spits him out and wants nothing to do with him. Here it is, this woman here is not gullible enough or not desperate enough to play into the game, and because she won't play into the game, he will make it difficult for her to grow in that company, or he will make it so unbearable for her to stay that she ends up leaving. You have a lot of people in different industries. The industry and law enforcement, all of these different organizations. When you have these bullies in power, these narcissists in power, and they get on that power trip, they can make it unbearable for you to even make a decent living. That is why a lot of y'all see stuff going on your job, and you're not going to say a word. Because why? You don't want to become a target. You don't want to become a raft. When you snitch, you shorten you shorten your chances of survival, basically. Because once you report somebody who has a lot of power, they can block every avenue. They can blackball you. Even if you're trying to move on, you could even not be bothering them no more. They will still have it to where they can block every opportunity. Put the word out there. Don't sign us orders. Diddy had that kind of power. Diddy was definitely a giant. I mean, The man's a mogul, entrepreneur. He had just so much authority. He had a lot of power in so many things, and ultimately his power became his demise, because like many, whenever you have an industry devil, after you done sold your soul for a long period of time, a lot of people don't realize even the devil has an expiration date to his contract. Okay, the devil will give you this contract with such a sweet deal. Yeah, just sign your life, sell your soul to me. I'll have it to where everybody got to come to you if they want to become a successful artist. I have it to where women of low value and low self-esteem will be willing to make themselves become sex slaves to appease to you. I will give you this deal of cars, wealth, mansions. I'll even see to it that your children also get the benefits of your wealth and all of your luxurious lifestyle trinkets, so they too don't have to come up in poverty. The enemy will sell you such a sweet deal and you think you're winning. But just like any contract, you have to read that fine print. When you go to that real estate agent and she's telling you about how great of a price a good deal, the price is so sweet for this big old 5-bedroom home you're going to purchase. She's showing you all the beautiful marble floors, the marble counters, the huge backyard, and all of these wonderful features that's going to come with this brand new house. But you did not read the fine print. Whenever you sell your soul, the interest rate is going to be 20 times higher than the actual price of that prize you think that you're going to win. Diddy sold his soul long time ago, and it started when the way his father died leaving here, but by not basically living up to a deal in which anytime you sign up for that street life, you sign up, to be a dope boy, or a drug lord, or you get into the street lifestyle and you do something shady. That's what took his father's life. Diddy's father allegedly, lost his life because he was moving like a snake. And someone had to take him out, for making a snake move. The sins of a father, unfortunately, passed down to the son. Diddy inherited those same snakish traits of doing people in. Granted, this is a different time, different era, and it's not the same. The setting is not the same, but that demonic DNA of thinking you got the power to have your way until all of your dirty demonic deeds, it comes back on you. That's what ended up happening. It was time for Diddy to cash out with the devil. The devil had enough fun with him. Diddy's not fun for him anymore. He already knows he owns his soul. And listen, anytime somebody knows they own you, they no longer have no fun in trying to keep you. The devil don't want Diddy anymore. He's ready to send him off to be devoured by the law and by all his enemies. Everybody who the devil first gave him so much power over, now he done left him to be devoured. The devil will give you power, then leave you to be devoured. Now that's a part. Listen, y'all gonna have to copy. I'm gonna have to copyright that. Y'all heard it here first. The devil will give you power, then will come back and devour. And that is the truth. He will set you up. It was the contract had ended, and it had ended when Diddy got too big. With the liquor brand company. I think it's Diageo or something like that. Diageo brought him to the table, but Diddy, because of his ego, tried to take over the whole damn table. And listen, I heard a guy coincidentally passing me today, and he said something very interesting. He said, it's powers on every level. It's going to always be somebody that's going to overpower you or outpower you. There's competition on every level. You know, there's power on every level. Even millionaires, you got millionaires hating on other millionaires. You got millionaires that's trying to be better than other millionaires. To an average person, your 3-4 million looks like a lot. But to a millionaire that's 20 million, your 100 million, 200 million is pennies. It's going to always be someone on a bigger level. And if you are greedy or if you lack self-worth and self-confidence, you're going to always try, to elevate and elevate and elevate to the point to where you start losing yourself. And there's nothing wrong with growing and elevating. I don't think nobody should just settle being to the bottom. But you only want to become big, not because you want to better yourself. You want to keep becoming big so you can overpower people. And that was Diddy's problem. It wasn't so much he wanted to become bigger so he could help other brothers, help other, artists. He wanted to become big so he could hold people captive. Nobody's said or addressed or exploited Diddy for the things he has done up until now. Now everybody's coming forward because, again, everybody feels safer. For instance, like I told y'all about your job, you got a corrupt manager, corrupt supervisor, but because you don't have the power, you don't have the rank to report it and address it, you're not going to say anything. But I guarantee you, the day that individual gets exposed and the big chief over that supervisor comes to y'all and say, hey, we have to terminate or get rid of your supervisor for blah, 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 blah. We're going to start clean. We're going to revamp the whole company. However, in order for me to make a decision if I'm going to keep y'all still on board, I need y'all to be frank with me and let me know all of the things you saw going on, everything that you witnessed, or we're going to have to let you go too. Because obviously, if you still have some type of loyalty to that person, we can't keep you here. Guarantee not to tell you going to run your mouth. Even more so when you know that person is no longer there and they don't have the same authority, they don't have the same power that they used to have. You'll feel much safer to express and report all of the things that you have seen. But as long as that devil is in authority over you, you're not going to report it. You're not going to say a word because you're in survival mode, especially now with the way the rent is, the way the economy is. People just can't. You just can't report things and not think about your livelihood. Not think about how you're going to survive. A lot of these people did not expose Diddy because Diddy had a lot of these people on his payroll. Even down to his women. His women were on the payroll. Now, everybody knows about all the abuse Cassie accepted, and she still stayed. Keep in mind, he has done that with every woman, down to the great late Miss Beautiful Kim Porter. You don't think if he had the boldness to drag and fight and put his hands on Cassie, you don't think he did that with Kim Porter? And according and allegedly to all of people who known them, been close to them, her friends, everybody witnessed, even Kamara and her and Kim Porter was like this. Everybody knew Diddy was doing a whole lot of fuckboy shenanigans. Everybody knew it. Not just the women, the men. Everybody coming down on Cassie for staying and tolerating. But he also had bodyguards who stayed and tolerated. He had security team. He had rap artists. You know how many men stood by Diddy no matter how much Diddy abused them, misused them, belittled them in front of other men? Diddy abused any and everybody who ever depended on him, whoever was surviving off of him. The reason why Cassie is standing out more only because that her video went viral and because she's on the stand. Diddy has abused every individual who has ever had any real dealings with him, especially if they was under some type of authority. Rather, if they was up under his authority as an artist, up under his authority as an employee, up under his authority as just a damn housemaid or a chef. And just about anybody who's dealt with him under his leadership, they would tell you they suffered in some form or another. And while y'all are looking at this as a money grab and everybody just wants to see a black man down and everybody be quiet, do y'all not understand that the powers of the universe, whatever you put out there is exactly what the hell your ass is going to get back? Why nobody has considered that? Why it got to be somebody want to take a black man down? Somebody don't want to see a black successful man win. No, I don't want to see an evil ass man win. And it's gotten to the point to where his evilness is coming in full circle. And that's why he's in this position in which he's in this jail where he can't even dress up his demonic deeds. He can't even dye his demonic deeds. He can't even get any hair dye right now. No, the powers that be and the Lord himself is allowing Diddy to not have access to these earthly gadgets like a barber or Beijing hair dye and all that, because he wants people to see the devil for Diddy for the devil he really is. And when this trial is over, we'll get to see what he looks like with his Santa Claus, with his Diddy Glover, because I have a feeling he looks like Mr. from The Color Purple. That's why I'm calling him Diddy Glover. Okay, not Danny Glover, Diddy Glover. Okay, because we're going to see you for the real demon that you are. The demon that you hid behind your Beijing and $1 million suits and $1 million shoes and $1 million brands. We get to see the real demon. The demon that's always been there. The demon that everybody was too afraid to acknowledge as a demon. But now that he's incarcerated, people feel free to speak. No way in hell was anybody going to speak and exploit what Diddy was doing to Cassie or any other women or anything. Not while he was out. Because for anybody who thinks Diddy did not play a part, allegedly, and I got to say that to be nice, make sure y'all hit that like button, by the way. If you haven't, I would appreciate it. Everybody, I mean, come on. We know he had everything to do with Biggie and Pac's death. Because as soon as they both passed, especially after Biggie, more importantly, because even Biggie was getting tired of the bull. Biggie was getting ready to pull a rug from up under his foot and start and do his own thing. But Diddy is just like the devil who owns him. Once you make the choice that you don't need him no more, or you don't want no parts of him no more, he's going to find a way to terminate you. No one is going to be able to leave Diddy unless Diddy takes you out. Diddy, if I can't have you, nobody can. Diddy has this attitude of, once I make you, I own you. He don't think that once he done made you, you're supposed to be able to branch off now. Okay, thank you, appreciate you for helping me to establish my career and get me to where I'm going, but it's time for me to move on. Diddy wants to own you. And if he is nice enough to let you go peacefully, it's because he done already got everything he needed out you. But a lot of people could tell you, Mace been put it out there. The Locks got into it on live with Hot 97 arguing with Diddy about their royalties. Diddy's mother was in on knowing her son was doing in all kind of people, and that's why she's feeling the wrath of what Diddy is going through, because she saw her son moving like a snake and she never called him out on it. And probably because she was afraid of him too, because according to the security guard Gene Deal, he had either threatened to put his hands on his mom, or he actually did, or either he did actually slap her. I heard both. I heard that he did slap his mom, and then I heard that he threatened to have slapped her. So Diddy had a lot of people's career and livelihood in his hands. Cassie stayed with him for the same reason. His artists stayed with him. His employees stayed with him because they all knew he had something they needed. Whether if that need was money, whether if that need was fame, whether if that need was attention, whether if that need was love. Everybody was dependent on Diddy for something, and he loved it that way. He absolutely loved it. Whether if you were in need of his money, you was in need of just being known with him, you was in need of becoming an artist of his so you can get notoriety. Diddy knew he had something that that someone needed. You know what I'm saying? He knew he had a whole lot of things that other people desired. And he capitalized off of people's weaknesses. If you were weak for fame, he would capitalize off of that and help make you famous. But he'll also let you know that I can make you or break you. Either you're gonna toss my salad, you're going to do all these demonic dirty deeds. That way, in the event you decide to leave me, or you decide that you no longer want to be my slave, now I can exploit you. Diddy is a slave master. Anybody who's ever encountered him, he's always given them just enough to where they will need him but not be able to leave him. See, this is the other psychological part of dealing with an abuser. And I deal with men who have these characteristics and who have the domestic violence issues. Diddy knows how to give a person just enough to need them, but they can't leave them. The reason that Cassie and all his artists, his security guards, everybody who witnessed all of the abuse he did, all of them stayed because Diddy had something they all needed. Most of it was money. You with this, you're under the leadership of this person that's abusive, got a foul mouth, disrespectful to his staff, quick to fire people if they even look wrong. Because you have to make a decision between, okay, morally, I don't like what he's doing, but my paycheck, he's paying me $5,000 a week. unless you are a strong believer in faith and know that God can still provide, most people don't trust God to provide. They would rather trust the enemy to survive. And that's what most of them did. This man is cutting you this big, large salary check for you to report something or call him out on something, for him to fire you, blackball you to where you will never stand another chance even becoming a damn janitor for somebody in the industry. Or you keep your mouth closed so you can feed your family, live your life a certain way because you can't afford it based off of the fact that you are dependent on this person. You done got used to making this big money. You don't want to go back to neck bones and pork and beans. So you tolerate the abuse that he does to you and the abuse that you see him doing to others. You just learn how to deal with it. No different. Again, a lot of y'all doing this on your own job. You hate your supervisor. You know he's mean. You know he's nasty. You know he's an asshole. And the days he chooses not to come to work is a wonderful day. Because you know that'll be the one day you get some peace. But you tolerate it. You deal with it. Because that's how you pay your mortgage. That's how you pay your light bill, your water bill. That's how you keep your children in expensive private schools and stuff. A lot of people are tolerating industry abuse. And what I mean by industry abuse, you know, it's a different paragraph from domestic violence, because industry abuse is when you have people in leadership over an organization or an agency or a business, and these organizations know that people depend on them, that people trying to make a living from them, so they know that they could pretty much get away with doing all kinds of stuff. Nobody's not going to report it. Nobody wants that smoke. That's the reason why everybody kept their mouth closed. A lot of them, just because people are quiet, that don't mean they are accepting of what you do. They just know if they say something, either one, you're going to become defiant and want to be combative and argue, or two, you'll say, I tell you what, you don't like how I do things here, you fire, you get the hell on. Look how the little bit that we saw. I mean, remember the band when them kids didn't want to walk and get the cheesecake. The way he was talking to them, deal with it. If you can't deal with it, then you walk. You get the F on. You know how many people wanted to be on the show and had the opportunity, and here it is, you got the opportunity, and you gonna let your ego, you gonna let this, that, and third, or whatever, make you want to buck on doing something as simple as getting a cheesecake. And granted, a lot of the people who, all of the band members of that show, he blackballed Dylan. Dylan hadn't been able to catch a break. I mean, Diddy blackballs anybody who does not give in to his demonic demands. That's why his ex-president of Bad Boy is exploiting him and airing it all out now for this trial, because he basically said a lot of things that I always felt that was true. Like, he said once him and Diddy fell out, Diddy blocked it to where this man couldn't get a ham sandwich in Brooklyn. And see, and we wonder why Diddy going through all this. Diddy done did a whole lot of sour, dirty ass stuff to a lot of people. Cassie is just one portion that we saw. And that was because that video went viral. This man been shitting and pissing on people for years, and y'all up here, free Diddy. The man been on a demonic warpath. You know, he allegedly he had fought Kim Porter. A lot of people think he had something to do with that. I'm just gonna say it's pretty, the irony of how many people passed around Diddy's inner circle. Even somebody else who passed, he was on the band, Phil. I don't know his last name, but his name was Phil. He was the one on the band that the band chose to manage, them. He just passed from cancer not too long ago. I ain't gonna say Diddy had anything to do with it, because of course Diddy was incarcerated, but I don't trust Diddy. It just seemed like anybody near his circle is going to suffer some type of demonic fate. But now he's suffering his own demonic fate. While y'all around here caping for him, capping, I guess that's what they call it, capping for him. He's a black successful man. Y'all just want to see him brought down. Diddy brought himself down. It's not just Cassie. Diddy brought himself down for all the karma that he done collected throughout these years. You ever had a loan where some of you perfect credit people probably never defaulted on a loan, but you ever was given a loan and didn't pay all the way back on that loan, and now it's on your credit report, and nobody else wants to give you a loan because of that stain on them? That's the type of power Diddy had with any and everybody. We're talking about Cassie. Again, all these grown men. Even a sex worker, this man had just that much power. He made a allegedly hired these sex workers to perform these acts with Cassie. And one of them was like, he got actually tired of smashing Cassie. And think about it, this a grown man that he was able to enforce to smash his girlfriend. And even that grown man ain't had enough of dignity to say, I don't want to keep skeeting in this girl's mouth. It's becoming degrading at this point. Diddy had just that much demonic influence over men and women. He had grown men sexually doing things they didn't want to do. But then, we sit up here, Cassie sit up here and took, that's what abusers do. Abusers know how to capture the weak. Whether if they get somebody younger than them, or get somebody in poverty that's struggling, who don't have a lot of money, or getting people that they know that are fearful of them. Abusers know how to rule out what would be the weaker candidates, who would be less of a challenge. Next time I am going to talk more about the dynamics of why Cassie took all of the abuse that she took off of Diddy, because it's a lot of false narratives that are being promoted, especially when you have not encountered abused women. And it's sad that if a woman says she's being abused, that it's like she's just crying wolf, or she wants some money back. It's women out here who actually getting their ass whooped, and they ain't thinking about no money. They thinking about their health, their safety, but they got nowhere to go. No family won't take them in. They don't want to leave their kids with a man that's abusing them, afraid that man may take his frustration out on the kids and abuse the kids. It's a lot of women that are in abusive relationships, and it's not always because of money. Money is number one, especially if she's a woman who doesn't have a lot going for herself. She's in poverty, especially if she's a young woman. Young women are the biggest candidates when it comes to becoming prey to abusers. Abusers love to go after beautiful young women because it strokes their ego. And not only that, they know they have a bigger advantage and being able to give that young woman a lifestyle that she's probably never even experienced. Y'all can say what y'all want to say, but the truth of the matter is Diddy was 34, 35, and Cassie was 19. Yeah, she was a grown woman, but that's only by age. It had nothing to do with her mental psyche. Listen, you got some 18, 19-year-old women who got the minds of 12-year-olds. She may look like she's a woman. She may even dress like a woman, but mentally, depending on how she was raised and her upbringing and what she was taught, that doesn't make her a woman because of her age. But you have abusers who will capitalize off of that. And an abuser, in his mind, he has learned how to make it make sense. But she's 18, she's grown, according to the law. So in his mind, he feels safe. He feels justified in picking a young woman, knowing she don't know half as much as he does. She doesn't have the knowledge that he does. And that's the very reason why he chose her. Not going to choose women his age. Or if he does choose women his age, he's going to choose women his age who he knows is going to be submissive and humble. That's why he chose Kim Porter. Wanted somebody that was pretty much going to be humble and not to say she didn't stand up to him when she needed to, but he wanted a woman whom was going to accept him for what he was and how he was. And that was the downside of being with Diddy. If you was going to be with Diddy and you wanted him to give you lifetime membership to the lifestyle of Diddy, then you was going to have to do a lot of outrageous things. You was going to have to do sex parties. You're going to have to let him watch you smash other men in front of him, fulfill his sexual demonic fetishes. So a whole lot that comes with the man with that type of demonic thinking, especially within that lifestyle within the industry. But we'll talk more about that another time. It's an hour and 11 minutes. I don't want to lose too much of the message at hand. But we're going to talk more about it. So we'll stay tuned for that. I got other content coming up as well. So it's getting late, y'all. But, we will chop it up and talk about it some more. But please make sure before y'all leave, hit that like button. And I'll be talking to y'all soon. Later.